another edition of the JMU Sports News Podcast. I am Bennett Conlon, joined by Jack Fitzpatrick, and the Dukes won, but was a little bit ugly.
What was that, boy?
It was a little bit ugly. You're not supposed to say that in a full voice because people get upset if you criticize a win.
We're already going off on a tangent here, 30 seconds in. There's the podcast I listened to, the Ringer Fantasy Football podcast. They're making fun of the stat from PFF called Big Time Throw. And they're like, that sounds like a 4-year-old made it. Like, look at my big time flow. I did so good. And that's what you just sounded like.
That is a funny stat, man.
Like, you know how many big time flows Awanza Barnett has this year? He only has 4 big time flows.
So they beat Georgia State. Where do we want to start with this one? 14-7.
So let me just read over my first half thoughts and then my second half thoughts. These are just the intrusive thoughts I jot down, see if there's anything there. I go back and I look at it. During the rewatch, it's maybe things I kind of harping in on. Wayne Knight is very good and best offensive threat. Nothing too crazy there. That makes sense. Can't keep putting defense in tough situations.
You were not about to use full sentences in these notes.
Oh, no, of course not. Third one, Alonza just isn't it. Off target. Pass block also is rough. No consistency, underlined. Need a better OC. And then nuanced Dom topic. Where does the blame lie? Those are my notes.
I love that, man.
And then here's my last note. City Stadium is the place to be this Saturday night. Thank you to all 5,509 of you for coming out to support your Kickers. I then accidentally wrote a read on my notes.
I love that, man.
I don't know where to start. Like, we can just rag on. Let's start here. Quick ad break. Then we'll be back to probably start with the bad, the ugly, and we'll talk on the good. I mean, it's the defense. What's new? And then we'll go from there. We'll be right back with more. For more than 20 years, SignPro has been proudly serving the Valley, helping local businesses stand out and get noticed. Whether it's vehicle wraps that turn heads on the road, dimensional signs that elevate your storefront, or long-lasting banners with yard signs, we bring quality and experience to every project. With a reputation built on craftsmanship and trust, we're here to make your message impossible to miss. Visit mysignpros.net and let's showcase your business with confidence. That's mysignpros.net. All right, welcome back in. Bennett, why don't you start us? Where do you want to start with the no good, awful, horrible performance down at Georgia State?
They made some comments, coaches, this week after the game, Chesney, Dean Kennedy, that last year that's a game they probably lose, and I think I would agree. So I will say it's nice to still be undefeated in Sunbelt play. They're 4-1. If they go on a run, there's still a possibility they're sort of like in playoff talks, but they're going to have to look a lot better. 12-1. If they get there, they'll be in the playoff conversation.
After that performance, I don't want to hear.
But I feel like some of that's a little reactionary. You know,
yeah,
like they're still a good team. They won the game. It wasn't their best. It wasn't good enough, in my opinion, for like what they need to do. But I don't know, man. They've kind of been Jekyll and Hyde, especially on the road, dating back to last year. So this doesn't come as like a major shock that they laid a road egg, but they won with their road egg, which is exciting and good.
Yeah, you're right.
So there is some stuff there, but also then we were talking about, and we posted a bunch, of course, as we always do on game days and the days after. They're not throwing the ball for anything, and people are like, it doesn't matter. There's some people who are like, hey, it's fine. This is cool and good. Like, this is Mickey ball. It's like, okay,
the
man.
Coach
like,
that got
Mickey
ran out of town.
Yeah, like they intentionally went away from him over a decade ago. It's a different era of college football. You can't throw for 74 yards in games against competent teams. Georgia State, sorry, but you're not a competent team, right? And everyone's like, oh, they played SEC teams. They're going up against SEC teams. Yeah, but like Ole Miss beat them 63-7. Vandy put 70 on them. Memphis blew them out. Murray State scored 21 against them. So to score 14 and to only win by, it's their best result by far for Georgia State against an FBS opponent this year. And I know they played a hard schedule, but like JMU did not look on par with a Memphis or a Vanderbilt. And Maybe Vanderbilt's a lot better than JMU, but in most people's eyes, JMU should be able to hang with like a top 20 team in the country. So to look drastically different was jarring. They need to figure out the passing game. It's pretty obvious. Running game's good. Defense is awesome. Special teams is improving. And the passing game straight up sucks right now. And that is going to be a problem playing football in 2025. Even service academies that don't throw it much, when they do throw it, it's almost like a trick play. So it has a chance to become extremely explosive. JMU doesn't have explosives in the passing game. They don't really have consistent, like, short yardage stuff going on either. They have nothing in the intermediate area. They're dropping passes. At times they're not protecting. They're missing wide open receivers, apparently. The play calling seems like maybe it's leaving something to be desired too in the scheme. But other than that, like, what a great passing attack they've got.
I mean, 11 of 22 against Georgia. And, like, people also are saying, like, oh, well, the game plan was to run it a lot against Georgia State. That's fine. I'm totally okay with that. The week before was also the game plan to run it a lot against Georgia Southern, another bad rushing defense. And Alonzo also had a 50% completion percentage game, but he hit a couple more big plays. In that one, I'm a little less to be mad about his 50% completion.
And he had like 5 drops or something,
he had 5
right?
drops. The receivers weren't helping him in that game. In this game, I think there was one bad Nick DeGennaro drop. Like, he threw it into the air. That could have been disastrous. But for the most part, he was late on throws. He made the wrong read, or he was thinking too much. And, like, if you are going to pass, the most they've passed in a game is 25 attempts. If they are going to do that this season, you're going to need those 25 attempts to be clinical attempts. Like, if you're going to be completing 55 to 60% of your passes, which is what roughly they are doing this season, and you're only attempting it 25 times, you're going to need those 14 pass completions to be like averaging 15 yards a completion so that you can have, I don't know if that math even makes sense.
At least like 10.
10.
And that's 140 yards. It's not, like, that's not much.
You got to have it to keep the other team honest. Because, like, the offensive game plan seemed to be, we're going to run it down your throats and then we're going to pass it every now and again. But the issue was the passes were, like, weird. It became extremely predictable, like the Louisville game. Like, what was it? On first down, you did the splits. They ran it on first down 10 of the 13 times.
So their last 13 first downs, 10 of the 13 were runs. It was a 15-10 split for the game. They actually had some decent completions on first down the first half when they were throwing it with Barnett. They were dreadful in this game on second down. I don't know exactly why, but they had a million like 2nd and 4s, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6s that just went for nothing. Like, they don't seem to be able to string together plays, but their plan is somehow to string together, like, that's more of my beef, I think, is just, like, the plan of attack is like, hey, we're going to string together these drives, we're going to control the clock, we're going to shorten possessions, we're going to shorten the game. So shorten the game, not really shorten possessions. They're going to, like, lengthen possessions and try to shorten the game.
So the opposite of what you said.
Yeah, so you only want to have... They're getting like 8 possessions right now in some of these games, like 8 to 10 offensive possessions, even though they're wildly inconsistent with them. I don't get that plan. Like, I don't get that. They're more talented than most of the teams they're going to play. Wouldn't you want, like, more possessions to show that, like, your defense is better and your offense has the skill guys, and if you give them enough possessions, you're going to make it happen? But they're shrinking the game and playing these, like, I don't know.
Which,
I just
again,
don't get
like,
that.
It's fine if you're efficient. And, like, the team just is not efficient. And that's where so many of these issues lie. As it stands right now, Alonzo Barnett, there are 17 quarterbacks in the Sun Belt this year that have taken 20% of their team's dropbacks. Alonzo Barnett ranks 15th out of 17. He ranks 15th out of 16. Let me just do it based off of dropback. I mean, I won't even do that. The point still stands. He's been one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the Sun Belt this year. He's the worst starting quarterback outside of Bishop Davenport for South Alabama, who has started, I believe, every game this season for their respective team. That's not good.
I mean, here's my thing. It's like, you have 2 running backs who do a nice job with Fuller and Knight. They both went over 5 yards a carry. I think Knight was over 6 yards per carry. You don't turn the ball over, and you only give up 249 yards to the other team. Why is it a game? Like, it should, like, if you play like that, where your best two running backs have a nice solid game, your defense is phenomenal again, and like you barely are beating this garbage team, that's crazy, man. If you're only giving up 249 yards, you got to go out and blow them out. Instead, they have 292 yards themselves because they can't throw the football, and like 30 of the rushing yards come on fake punts. You have 2 fake punts in a drive.
And you don't score on the drive.
You don't score. You take up 10 minutes of clock, and everyone's like, they're 5th in time of possession. That's great. Time of possession doesn't mean jack if you don't score. Like, points matter, not like how long you hold on to the ball. Some of these teams that are great at time of possession are also creating explosives, and they're just dominant. Like Missouri, putting up a lot of explosives. They're holding onto the ball. They're playing great defense. They're overmatching overwhelmed opponents. JMU's defense is getting off the field quick. They're running the ball, and they have no explosives. So they're just like not scoring. They're holding onto the ball, which is cool. But again, it doesn't really, if you're scoring 14 points in a game, I could care less about your time of possession. Like, my God, you have to score points.
You're right. I mean, it's more so like overall on the season, they've been fine enough. But like a big issue I've had is that a lot of the issues that were on display in the Georgia State game were issues that have kind of been underneath the surface for quite some time. Yeah. Like, the last couple of games, you look at it and you're like, Alonzo seems to be struggling a little bit. I mean, 64% completion against a FCS team, less than 150 yards. You'd like to see that get a little better. Against Louisville, he's game planned out of his own game because they bring Sluka in for the +1 run game. And you're like, well, I guess I can't really count that game. Then against Liberty, he has a tough interception, but he throws for over 200 yards. And you're like, all right, maybe things are starting to go in the right direction. And then he follows it up with a 50% completion percentage, sub 150 yards.
He was okay in that game.
A little bit better, but like the issues were there. Like, there were issues there. And then against Georgia State, every issue that we have seen from Alonzo dating back to the Charlotte game, dating back to the Bucknell game in 23, were there.
But some of it, too, is what's frustrating, is that it's like not just him. Like the
the receivers aren't getting separation. On my rewatch yesterday, there was a couple of plays, and I don't know if it's the receivers or it's the scheme. Like, it's 3rd and 6.
Some of the routes are just like so lazy.
It was 3rd and 6. They had 4 wide receivers out. They had the far right side receiver it was 3rd and 6. Was a 5-yard hook. The 2 receivers on the near side both run 5-yard hook routes. All of them are covered like glue, man to man. And then the inside far side receiver, I'm sorry, like, this is hard to explain over podcasting, but like was just a go.
Yeah.
And he was covered with over the top safety help.
Yeah, there's a few of those where it's like real like lack of thinking if you're a defensive back.
And then there were other plays that kind of compounded the scheme issues or the questionable play calling.
Yeah.
Like, there was one play where I forget who it was, but ran like a mesh concept had like 3 steps on their corner. If Alonzo anticipates that throw and throws it on time, it's likely a catch. I think it was maybe to Michael Scott. It was to someone, maybe Logan Kyle. And if he anticipates that throw and hits him, that's a 15-yard gain, maybe more. There's another one where Wayne Knight is running a route out of the backfield up through the middle and then back to the far side. He has a step on his defender. Alonzo holds it for a second too long, then throws it to Wayne Knight. By that time, he's covered, and it's an incompletion. There's another pass where, like, they run a flood concept, so they put too many receivers into one corner zone so that there are 2 wide receivers to 1 cornerback. And Alonzo looks that way, decides not to throw it. From the broadcast angle, it's much different from the coach's angle, so I don't fully know. But from the broadcast angle, it looks like one of them is open, and he decides to not throw it there, and it's an incompletion, I believe, on the play. Like, so it's compounding the issues of, like, let's run 5-yard hooks on a 3rd and 6 with also the 5 plays that are open we're not going to be able to convert on.
And the 5-yard hooks are not like... They're not like I would see like an NFL receiver run a hook. Like they're not selling like they're going to go down the field. They're not like getting physical with like the defensive back. They're basically running 5 yards and just sort of sitting there and then being immediately blanketed. And it's like, that's not going to work. Like they need, the routes seem a little bit unimaginative, but also they're running them in a way that's like, that's not fooling anybody. And then, so then when they are covered too, the other thing is they seem to never take any chances. Like if a go ball is covered one-on-one, they don't throw the 50-50 ball. They're just like, oh shoot, it's covered.
I love Delvin. I think it was Delvin who said this on the To the House podcast where he was like, I want to see Alonzo throw an interception. Like, yes, I wholeheartedly agree. He's too careful with the football.
They got to take some chances. They got to create some explosives. The passing game is holding them back pretty clearly, and it works against Georgia State barely. But when you play Old Dominion, or you play Texas State, or even Louisiana, which is a much better team than Georgia State, I think. You play Marshall, like the next 4, then you get App, which isn't, like App's not good, but App's not Georgia State. And then you get Washington State, which again, not good, but not Georgia State. Like the games coming up, you have to be competent to win them. You can't you can't throw for 74 yards. And people keep saying, well, if you run for 250 yards or 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, that didn't happen on Saturday. I don't know why people keep saying that. Like, well, if you run for 300 yards, they ran for under 200 yards if you take out the fake punts and 2 touchdowns. What are we talking about when they're like, well, if you run for 500 yards and 7 touchdowns, it's fine. They're not doing that. Like, what are you talking about?
Georgia Southern, that game, if this is what the offense is going to look like, you're going to need that performance out of the offense each and every year. And that was a fantastic game from Alonzo Barnett, an 81.4 PFF grade. I just want to let you guys know that is his 4th best career game ever. So you're banking on him to have a game that he's only had 3 other times in his entire career to happen now each and every week. Like, that's just not possible. And I think that's one of my big issues with kind of that conversation around it as well. That is not something you can rely on each and every week. And it's not the game plan, I think, that sets Alonzo Barnett up for success. We've seen the heights of Alonzo Barnett. Like the UNC game and the Ball State game, and I know it's like, well, those are at this point now the outliers in his career. But like, you don't just luck into those. You have to have some sort of God-given talent to be able to pull off those types of performances. And they haven't been able to unlock that since then. And I believe it's because they don't open it up as much.
Yeah, I mean, like, even after those, he had a few games that were really impressive. Like Coastal Carolina, the completion percentage wasn't great, but he had 16 completions for almost 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, they were taking shots in that blowout last year against Coastal. And then you look at what he did against Georgia State at home last year. Same Georgia State team, different players, but, like, they're equally as bad. 20 for 30, 241 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Like, it's way worse this year.
And he had his career low in average depth of target last time out with 4.
4? How is that even possible?
With a guy who's like known to be the best deep ball. Well, last year was one of the best deep ball throwers in all of the Sun Belt.
He's better throwing deeper down the field, and his average depth of target was 4 yards. Well, also, like, that's the thing that bothers me is when you're talking about, you know, defenses being able to key in on what you're doing. It's like, hey, we're going to run the ball most of the time, but when we do throw it, you better be scared because we're going at least 4 yards downfield.
Yeah, like, if you're going to do this as well, and Chesney, I think, said this after the game, where they had some opportunities where they were giving them options and they didn't convert on them. And I think, like, if you do convert on them, maybe it's a completely different game. But then who does that fall on? Like, there is blame here. Who does that blame fall on? You look at the passing depth of JMU this season, I'm about to blow your mind here, Bennett. 24.2% of the team's passes this year have traveled 10 air yards or more. That's number
brutal, man.
Was 30% last year.
Yeah.
And like a 6% decrease is pretty astronomical.
I mean, they're just like not taking any shots. And I feel like the shots that they have taken have probably been like at least 2 to 4 of them were Sluka. Or Isaiah Alston.
3 of them. traveling 20 air yards. I don't know if Alston's traveled 20 air yards, but Sluka has had...
He overthrew him by at least 20, I think.
All right. All right. According to PFF, Alonso has 14 attempts this season that have traveled 20 air yards or more. He's completed just 3 of them for 71 yards and 2 touchdowns, which not that bad of a ratio if you think about it like that. A season ago, he went 18 of 48 on passes of 20 air yards or more for 9 touchdowns.
His average depth of target last year was 9.3. It's down to 7.1. Like that's a pretty big drop.
And maybe we're getting too into the weeds here, but I would love to see them also utilize the play action game a little bit more. Like if you are going to dominate on the run, I would like to see you build off the pass attack a little bit with that, because they've only thrown 25 play action passes this season, which is 20% of all of their pass attempts, for 118 yards, which is their third best type. I mean, the concepts are play action, no play action, screen, no screen. So like 118 yards play action, but I mean.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're running as well as you can, you'd think that would work a little better. I mean, I do have some pretty big beefs with the play calling, like the Sluka package. My God, 4th and 3, we're bringing in Sluka. He does the hesitation run for no yards. Like, just get that out of my face, man. That was terrible.
Next time Sluka comes in, he has to pass it. Like at this point, if I'm a defense and I see Sluka run onto the field, you know what I'm a defensive lineman. You know what I'm turning around and I'm saying? They're running this shit. Come on, come on in.
4th and short, but it wasn't even that short. It was like a full 3 yards.
Yeah.
And they're running, and he catches it and does like a little Le'Veon Bell hesitation. It's like, that's not going to work. That ain't working today. That ain't working ever. Like, that. What a way to just punt a 10-minute drive into the sun.
I also will say, too, that I think the offensive line does need to improve a little bit. I think there are legitimate issues with the offensive line pass blocking that we've seen the last couple of weeks.
It's not perfect, but I feel like they had enough in this one to do a little more than
they had enough. Yeah, there were a couple times where maybe the pressure was invited because Alonso wasn't totally feeling it. So, yeah, you're right there. Maybe a little bit. In this game, he was pressured on how many percentage of his dropbacks? He was pressured on 8 of his 22 dropbacks, brought down for a sack once.
I mean, he's doing a better job not getting sacked, which is not nothing based off of what happened last year. Like that, avoiding the negative play is not. I mean, it's better than it was at times last year from that regard. But they need to get some positive plays too. And the other thing is like, I don't know, man. You can't talk all offseason about how you think you're 6 or 7 deep at receiver, and you thought last year you only had Cam Ross, who's really good for UVA, and you only had Ymir Knight, who's really good for SMU. Like, that's a pretty good 2 to only have. I don't know, man. They talked to all offseason. They're like, we're better at receiver. We're better at receiver. Isaiah Alston doesn't have a catch against an FBS team. He was supposed to be a deep ball threat.
He's hardly been targeted.
Smoke Collins. Nothing. They talked about these guys, though, like they were going to extend the field and do all these crazy things in the offense. They're not doing anything.
Of their 5 highest target getters, only 3 of them are wide receivers. Like, I think that's a little crazy. I think if you're talking about how good they are, and it's not even like they're getting a ton of targets. Landon Ellis has 19, Nick DeGennaro has 16, and Jalen Sanchez has 15. The next highest wide receiver in terms of target is Michael Scott with 6. Zeron Collins has 4. Isaiah Alston has 4. Braden Wislowski has 3. And Dylan Williams has 1. And granted, let's be honest, there aren't a lot of targets to go around in this offense because they're only attempting like 22 passes.
It's just bad.
They've gone 22, let me do the math, 22 of 44 over the last 2 weeks through the air. For less than yards? 200 yards. No, just over 200 yards. That's over.
That's bad. That's not, well, I mean, it's just not going to get it done. And the reason we're so frustrated, I think this is important to clarify for some listeners, not most of them, but for some of them. The reason it's so frustrating is because the running game, the defense, the overall talent level, like
special teams. Patrick
This
Ray
is a
was
Sun Belt
great.
champion roster. Like, this team should be beating ODU on this great stage, and then be beating Texas State on national TV, and then go 12-1 and win the Sun Belt. Like, it's there. It is there. You have, like, a Power 4 caliber defense. You have your 5 deep at running back, like Jordan Fuller. Like, there's rumors that they were just going to redshirt this dude, and now it's like, oh, we're a little banged up, so he happens to be a star. Like, they weren't even going to play him, and now he's doing amazing. Wayne Knight, we thought, was, like, RB12. Turns out he's, like, the best player in the Sun Belt. They have it. It is all there. And Nick they can't complete a forward pass in 2025.
And Nick DeGeneiro, maybe the best wide receiver in the CAA last year before getting hurt.
This is what gives me a problem, is like last year, it's like, guys aren't winning their one-on-ones. And then you see Cam Ross and Ymir Knight in the ACC, and it's like, oh, they're winning one-on-ones there. And then you turn this on, and it's like, guys aren't winning their one-on-ones. It's like, well, Nick DeGeneiro won his one-on-ones for like 3 years in a row at Richmond, and Jalen Sanchez for 2 years in a row at Villanova. Smoke Collins, like, Tusculum redshirted him after 4 games because they're like, hey, man, you're too good to be here. Right? That's basically what he told us. It's like,
Isaiah Alston led the nation in yards per catch 2 years ago.
Yeah, Isaiah Alston, big play threat. You have a sample of all the receivers have produced almost everywhere else they've been. And then they come here and it's like, they just suck now. That seems like a coaching thing. Right? Like, I don't know, man. I'm not buying that anymore. I bought it a little bit last year. I was like, oh, these guys can't win their one-on-ones. And then it's like watching Cam Ross, and you're like watching ESPN broadcast, and they're like, they need to target this guy against Florida State. The Seminoles have no answer. And I'm like, wait a second. I thought ULM had answers. But the Seminoles don't have answers? Wait a second. Doesn't make sense, man.
Something's not adding up here.
Wait, so you're telling me that Nick DeGeneiro was unbelievable at Richmond with a quarterback on the roster?
And a former Big Ten recruit.
Yeah, but he comes here, and all of a sudden he can't even get a target.
I stand by what I said last week. I don't know if Alonzo's throwing a catchable ball, too.
Well, I don't know, man. They got to figure something out in the pass game, because they do have the receivers, in my opinion, to do a lot more than what they're doing right now.
I wholeheartedly agree. And if you're going to be a run-first team, that's totally fine. I'm all for it. If you're going to be a run-first team, though, you've got to have an efficient passing game that is moving the football. And your ADOT, your average depth of target, can't be 4 yards.
No.
It can't be less than, honestly, it can't be less than 9 on the season. And that's what it is right now.
I think asking a team that has talked about having playoff or at least Sun Belt title aspirations, asking them to eclipse 100 passing yards in a game feels like a low ask. I don't think that's crazy.
And on the season, JMU's EPA per pass is one of the worst in the nation. So
we're concerned.
Like 112th.
But
it's
God,
negative.
But God, this defense, brother, they got dogs.
The defense is so good.
So good.
Time and time again in this game, they were set up to fail, and they just didn't. They just didn't.
It was sick, and then you're looking at plays, they get it to Ted Hurst, who should probably be on an SEC team, and he basically has a touchdown, and then Jacob Thomas just lays out, and I thought he wasn't even close. I thought it was just one of those I'm laying out, so this is on film kind of things.
Yeah.
I want the coaches to know that I did try. And then he fell down. I was like, oh, my God. How did you do that? And then, of course, Georgia State settles for a field goal, and the guy misses it by more than you could ever imagine. Somebody missing a field goal.
Looks like me playing an iron game.
wasn't anywhere close, man. That was a shank. So they're dogs. The defense is playing unbelievably well, and they stack it up week after week after week after week. If they can build on this and just give them some passing yards, they could go crazy.
When was the last time they threw back-to-back 200-yard games?
That's going to be fully attempt-based, too. It's not going to be impressive efficiency. It's going to be they just had to chuck it because they were getting cooked.
Last time, I'll even go a step less. The last time this offense had back-to-back 150-yard games. It's not this season. Let's scroll back to 2024. Back-to-back 150.
They did it at the end of last year.
Did they?
Yes, but back-to-back 200s doesn't go back to... You got to go back to Ball State ULM. So it's been over a year now since they've had consecutive...
Cool.
200-yard passing games.
which I feel like that's a really low bar in like this era of football.
That's pretty hard to do. That's really hard to do. At least for Alonzo, I don't know if they had some backups. I don't think they did. Well, like, what was the bowl game? It doesn't even matter because they couldn't. Like, one of their best passing performances in recent years was Billy Atkins, who's now at an FCS team. Like, he
don't forget about UNC.
Well, I mean, at least in the last, like, 10 games.
This team, though, like, it's just some head-scratching games, like, for them, where, like, I really do wonder if they take these opponents seriously, or if, like, they
claim they didn't, which is like, great.
that led me into
sick.
The segue of, like, Gardner Webb, you hyped up all week how it's your Super Bowl. You nearly lose at home to them. You're being booed at home. You lose to ULM because the atmosphere's too crazy. Then Georgia State this year, like, you nearly lose.
We got to stop with the atmosphere stuff, man. That's driving me nuts when they're like, "Oh, it's so sleepy. You got to bring your own energy." I don't care. You get 12 of these. Like, a lot of the guys in the team are being paid now. You know that, like, if you lose, you highly jeopardize your Sun Belt title chances. You take yourself out of any playoff dreams you possibly have. In what world are you not fired up to play one of your 12 games? I don't get that.
It makes sense. Like, they're just not taking teams seriously. And then post game, Jordan Fuller said it. I think Alonzo said it, where they were like, "Yeah, we came out a little flat. We weren't like fully like ready for the game." How? And it shows up in every stat. We've looked at like the home and away splits. I pulled up one on penalties because I think that just shows like how in the game are they. Because in the first half, I think they were flagged like 8 times. In the second half, it was only like 2 or 3. So clearly they figured something out in the second half to kind of be like, all right, let's lock in. But overall, in home and road games, this season, dating back to the start of 2024, JMU commits 3.5 more penalties per game on the road than at home for 21.5 more yards. So 2 first downs are taken away from JMU when they're on the road compared to when they are when they're at home. And 2 of the 3 games that have been played on the road this year, JMU has committed 10 penalties or more, which is unacceptable. JMU's never committed 10 or more penalties at home under Bob Chesney.
It's crazy. Also, at least 30% of the players who play, and this is just a made-up number, but at least 30% of the players who play meaningful snaps probably have, like, P4 bag or NFL dreams. You can't just waste chances. Like, what do you mean you're not excited to play? Like, if you want to go get a bag in the offseason, or if you want to, like, play in the NFL, you can't just sleepwalk through half your games. That doesn't make any sense to me. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Here, let me give some positivity. JMU football, thank you to you for this data point. JMU football has outscored its 3 G5 opponents 49-10 in the second half of games this season.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So we may be coming across as negative. We've been told that we're too negative before. However, it was a very, very frustrating game. They got the win, which is good. Every coach cliche, it's better to learn in wins than it is to learn in losses. Like, I get it, but also at the same time, like, from a macro view, if you want to win the Sun Belt, which I think is the goal of this team, They've said it, the fans want it, everything like that, you got to beat ODU and you got to beat Texas State. And that performance on Saturday was a culmination of a lot of issues that have been kind of simmering under the surface. That performance against Georgia State, even if you got a 50% better performance than what you got on Saturday against ODU and Texas State, you're probably getting mopped by ODU. Like, if you have not watched the Monarchs this season, you're doing yourself a disservice.
They're nice, dude.
Because they are one of the best G5 teams in the nation. They're better than JMU right now.
Yes. It's a scary game, man. It's going to be a fun one, but it's also a little intimidating.
And even when they sucked, even when they were bad, it's been a good game. Like, you get Commonwealth kids who know each other. They've played against each other. Like, JMU's got like the 804 and the 703. The ODU's got the 757 and the 804. Like, they know each other, and it's a good rivalry game.
The other thing that I think bears mentioning, at least for me, is that I really miss when Signetti would just straight up lie to get them fired up. Like, you'd come in after practice and be like, that was the most embarrassing practice I have ever seen.
Oh, you mean when he would lie to the media?
Yeah.
To like use them as a talking. Yeah.
He'd be like, I don't think these guys even care about football. And then you like the player would come in after and they're like, Sidney said you guys don't care about football in his work practice ever. And they'd be like, what'd he say? I thought, what? And he would just like get them locked in because it would be like, this whole thing about how they have to care more and focus in. They need something like that, man. I want to fire up Chesney something to the media. I need an offensive leader to sort of take hold and be like, look, like we're not sleepwalking through games anymore. Because they got some really experienced, great players on offense. And when Fuller said that like players weren't ready to go, Jordan Fuller was not one of those players. Like, he was awesome throughout the game and plays really physically and was amped up. I don't know who they're referring to that was kind of sleepwalking through it, but they have so many veterans on the offense that I feel like one of them needs to step up and be like, hey, like, let's lock in throughout the week. Let's make sure we treat every opponent like it's the most important game. Because I feel like they could do that and could get better, and they do have the talent there. They just need somebody to kind of step up, both on the field and then also, like, vocally.
Yes. I mean, yes, like big time.
Let's do it.
Got to get something because something. Chance this weekend, a noon kick, ESPN2 against Louisiana. Look, Louisiana's offense is a head scratcher.
Lunch,
They've got lunch. Bring your packed lunch, baby. They're really bad at passing the football, but that doesn't account for my packed lunch. Lunch Winfield is, I mean,
He's
like
sick.
What? Louisiana, like player of the year. Not sure how he ended up with the Raging Cajuns because like Louisiana's pretty darn good at football. This was shocking to me, and it's a small sample, so take it with a grain of salt. He has a sub 50% completion percentage, yet a .23 EPA per dropback. I just want to put that into perspective because Alonzo Barnett this year has a negative EPA per dropback at negative .16. He is what? 4 times better? I'm trying to do quick math. 3 times better than, granted, much smaller sample size, but you don't often see a kid with a sub 50% completion percentage and a .23 EPA per dropback. He's being clinical with where he puts the ball.
He's got Jordan McLeod vibes. Kind of a slender guy, scrambles, and when he does, he'll take deep shots. Like, he's probably a little bit faster.
He's accounted for 4 touchdowns this season. He's passed for 2 touchdowns and ran for 2 touchdowns. He's run for as many yards as he's passed.
Yeah, he was scrambling he's barely played, right? He came in mop-up duty against Marshall, or not even mop-up duty. I don't know if the guy got injured or what, the second stringer. I assume he's like the third, or at least was coming into the year, which is kind of fascinating. But it comes out scrambling around, constantly running, throwing, taking deep shots. He's like willing to put the ball in harm's way. It's like the anti-JMU offense. This man is going to take deep shots and also probably get picked like 3 times against JMU. It's going to be very exciting to watch him play because he is borderline reckless, but very exciting and capable of big plays.
And it makes for the stats that you see of Louisiana's offense just not what it is because it is completely different now with Lunch Winfield.
He's nuts.
So, but they have been really effective at running the football regardless of what the quarterback is, which is really impressive considering their passing offense has been one of the worst in the Sun Belt, one of the worst in the nation.
Relatable.
Before Lunch. They're a lot worse than JMU. Louisiana, this season, overall, negative .37 EPA per pass. So for every 3 pass plays, you could take a point off of the board. That is how inefficient their passing attack has been. JMU, negative .14. So it takes JMU about 10 passes to take a point off the board.
Yeah, Zylan Perry is a dog for them. He's one of the more exciting running backs in the Sun Belt. He's gone, he's averaged, I think, at least 5 yards per carry in the last 4 games against Missouri.
He's averaging 6.75 a rush this season against FBS opponents.
They didn't give him the ball against Missouri very much, which is kind of interesting. I don't know exactly why, but 5 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown with an 84-yard touchdown. So he broke one and then didn't get anything else going in that loss. But he's been really good for a while. He's just a good running back. They got an exciting offense. Their defense is trash, though.
And Bill Davis, their other running back, who's been splitting carries with them, 3 touchdowns as well. He's averaging just over 5 yards per carry.
They're nice.
Defensively for Louisiana, They're solid, not great against the pass, but like the last two teams, they really struggle to stop the run. And this should be kind of like a Georgia Southern game where you hope JMU's rushing offense can find a rhythm, and the passing offense is a nice complement to that, something it wasn't against Georgia State.
Yeah, Louisiana is a deeply flawed football team this year. I think they're expected to be really good, but like you get the quarterback hurt, and it's kind of just taking them out of their loop. But defensively, I thought they'd be a lot better than they've been. They were good against Rice in the first game, but the offense did nothing, and they lose it. But like they lost on the road to Eastern Michigan, which is like bad. They gave up 51 to Marshall in that weird shootout that they ended up winning, 52 to Missouri. This is one that like you can certainly win this game. There's a reason Jamie's favored by more than 2 touchdowns, even with lunch in the fold, which makes it a little more interesting. There's not much tape on lunch. It's at lunchtime. Like, there's reasons to think he could have a good game, but... Yeah. But JMU, right? We've talked about this for a long time, man. Anytime you get JMU, like, when the sun's going to be up for the whole game, it usually bodes well.
Yeah, and when they don't have to ride a plane. Because their most successful... I think Dom brought this up. Their most successful road games in the Chesney era have all been bus trips.
Yes, do never put them on a plane.
Honestly, yeah, just drive them.
I would
drive
bus
them
to
San
Texas
Marcos.
State. They have enough time between games that should be a bus trip.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Louisiana, though, I didn't realize this. I thought their defense was better last year. They've kind of been a bad defense for quite some time down there.
That's devastating to hear.
But they're bad again this year, but they're not like much worse than they were a year ago.
Yeah.
The difference is this year their offense is not nearly as good as it was last year. This year they are dead last in the Sun Belt in EPA overall per play at negative 0.212. Excuse me. Last year they were number 1 in the Sun Belt in EPA per play. So just a drastic fall off from their offense. It's a big reason why they're having kind of a season to forget down there. And where are they? Lafayette.
But they're not dead yet.
Lafayette.
I think that's what's exciting for them is that they are somehow, 1-0 in Sun Belt play. So they still got a lot to play for this year with lunch.
Do you watch Hamilton the musical?
No.
Okay. Well, there goes that.
I've seen bits and pieces of things.
Sure.
Heard the soundtrack.
Oh, okay. So like when the one guy's like Lafayette and then starts rapping?
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
All right. Well,
it sounded... But for everybody listening, I'm sure it was well known.
All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with voicemails. Big win, huge play. Don't just remember it, wear the moment. Breaking Tea makes shirts that capture the game's biggest highlights right as they happen. Gear up today using the link in the description. College football's back, and it's time to upgrade your game day gear. Right now, claim 15% off at Home Field. The best retro and vintage apparel in the game. Rep JMU in style. Don't wait. Check the link in description to get your 15% off. Every Monday, go to the house with former JMU quarterback Vad Lee and Hall of Famer Delvin Joyce. It's the weekly JMU football podcast with insider insight you won't find anywhere else from two guys who've worn the jersey. Listen now. Subscribe to the JMU Sports News Podcast Network to never miss an episode of To the House every Monday.
Yeah, hey guys, how's it going? It's just past halftime. It's still 7-0 Georgia State right now. We just got the ball back, but Dean Kennedy is a football terrorist. You cannot have a bigger disparity between our offense and defense than we currently have right now. It's ridiculous. How do you have all these weapons on offense, wide receivers, running backs, a couple great quarterbacks, and you still find a way to just completely throw your tools to the ground and not be able to figure it all out? It's just frustrating as a fan, and I don't know what the next steps are. Thanks, guys.
Go Dukes. It's JMU fan Jack here. Man, defense was amazing. Again, outside that touchdown drive by Georgia State, they couldn't move the ball at all. But offense, man, and I know everyone's going to blame it on Dean Kennedy and stuff, but Alonzo has to be better. Like we can't just keep having him play like this. We want to win the Sun Belt and make a run for the college football playoff. He can't make like stupid plays like that. He has to just be better, or we need to find someone else. And yeah, I don't know. We might need to hire someone as a consultant for our program, for our offense, because I don't know that staff can do it, or we need to find something. Something needs to change. Go Dukes. See you next week.
Hey guys, to answer your question, yes, a win is a win. One maybe controversial take here. AB3, a lot of folks are calling for his head, calling for a switch. Obviously, some accuracy issues. But I will say he didn't make any terrible mistakes, right? There wasn't any fumbles in the end zone. Yeah, you had the one sack that he shouldn't have taken that knocked us out of field goal range. But he didn't make any stupid mistakes, and I don't think he's getting enough credit for that. Was it his best game ever? Of course not. But he's up on the hate on AB3. Go Dukes.
Yeah, this is Pablo Hassan. Our defense is outstanding, and it's going to be wasted on a moron of a quarterback named AB3 and a bigger moron who's our OC, Dean Kennedy. Oh, my God, how bad do you have to be on offense to not recognize all you have to do is run the ball and then make some open throws, which AB3 cannot do. Time to bench him and start Cam Coleman. Peace out.
What's up, guys? I've never seen such a bad quarterback play. I mean, it was insane. Bailed out by the running backs. I mean, go away night, but come on. That was terrible. I mean, nobody on the off just brings back 2025, 2024. It's all the same. Ridiculous gameplay. Fire Dean Kennedy, bench Alonzo. Give me Cam Coleman. I've been saying it since the start of the year. I don't want Sluka. I want Cam. I don't know what else to say other than just terrible game. Thank God for the win. Thank God for the defense. But defense isn't going to carry us all year. So, but it's time to figure it out. Thanks, guys.
Big win, huge play. Don't just remember it, wear the moment. Breaking Team makes shirts that capture the game's biggest highlights right as they happen. Gear up today using the link in the description. College football's back, and it's time to upgrade your game day gear. Right now, claim 15% off at Home Field. The best retro and vintage apparel in the game. Rep JMU in style. Don't wait. Check the link in description to get your 15% off. For more than 20 years, SignPro has been proudly serving the Valley, helping local businesses stand out and get noticed. Whether it's vehicle wraps that turn heads on the road, dimensional signs that elevate your storefront, or long-lasting banners with yard signs, we bring quality and experience to every project. With a reputation built on craftsmanship and trust, we're here to make your message impossible to miss. Visit mysignpros.net and let's showcase your business with confidence. That's mysignpros.net. Every Monday, go to the house with former JMU quarterback Vad Lee and Hall of Famer Delvin Joyce. It's the weekly JMU football podcast with insider insight you won't find anywhere else from two guys who've worn the jersey. Listen now. Subscribe to the JMU Sports News Podcast Network to never miss an episode of To the House every Monday. Man, what great voicemails.
Good stuff, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We'd love for you to call in. We'd love for you to call in really whenever. Just drop your general musings. The quote unquote the voicemail line opens after the game's finish, but technically we can't open and close it, so it's technically always open. So if you ever just want to drop us a note on a Wednesday on how you're feeling about JMU football, feel free. Or whatever sport is happening that you're watching that you want to drop a line on. The phone number is 540. This is so staying into the podcast. 540-227-0881. 540-227-0881. Perfect. Anything else? What else we got to talk about?
I don't know, man. Sunbelt's crazy. Texas State lost to Arkansas State, which is a tough one. G5, the Americans cooking right now. No doubt about it. But ODU looks nice. That's going to be game of the year
I'm so
kind of
worried
stuff.
about that game.
Game of the year kind of stuff.
I'm so worried about that. And Ricky Ronnie hates Bob Chesney.
He does, which I like. I like that there's a little feud.
Do you think Bob hates him?
I hope so.
Okay. Are you going to that game?
Yeah, I got to figure that out. But hopefully, that's the dream, right? To be there and to have a chance, an opportunity to watch two good football teams play in a crowded environment and a chance to compete.
Something else we learned about JMU football, they can't compete in quiet environments.
Yeah, so it's going to be loud, which is huge for them.
It makes you wonder, like, maybe the reason the offense has struggled this year is because you know how, like, it's quiet offense at work. Maybe it should be, like, loud offense at work.
They need to just not be able to think. It has to be just constant sound going through their brains.
Just only sound. All right.
They should have decent atmospheres the rest of the year, with the one exception being at Coastal. So it is setting up beautifully for them to, like,
but that also doesn't matter because they've
Coastal.
just, like, dominated Coastal.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so Wayne Knight was named to the Paul Horning weekly honor roll for the second straight week. Moyer was voted MAC Offensive Player of the Week for field hockey. And this is a golf podcast. The Dukes women's golf finished fourth at the Pirate Collegiate Classic.
Good for them.
And volleyball had two of their players pick up Sunbelt Weekly honors. I apologize. I'm probably going to mispronounce these names. Lucelle and Niall.
There you go.
Thank you. All right. For Bennett Conlon. We're still working on Sabrina Carpenter. We're trying.
Yeah, we haven't gotten her yet. But
We're really trying to pitch her the fact that we think a niche football podcast where she can come on and share her thoughts on EPA per play and the usage of advanced analytics in today's day and age, how that impacts games. We really think that is great for her brand. We're trying to pitch it to her team. So far, they haven't bitten, but don't worry, it's coming.
it's also like kind of a huge hole right now. Like, people are like, what do you think of the passing game? Like, we've heard from a lot of people. We've heard from the coaches. We've heard from us. We've heard from other people. But, like,
We've heard from Synogs.
we've heard from Sinos. But Sabrina Carpenter hasn't said anything.
Not at all. Do we have listener questions?
No, I don't think I put out a question.
Yikes. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. That is a disappointing one.
I know.
Wow. All right.
Thanks,
Well, for Bennett Conlon, I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Have a wonderful rest of your day. See you.